How would you describe your sound? Or you want people to wait to see what you do?
Yeah, I'll leave it up for their interpretation.
Okay.
I have so many different influences. I don't really like to stick to one specific genre.
I like that. Beautiful. I went back and listened to ThatActorGuy about 2 or 3 times. I didn't get to listen to the full thing last week during the episode, but when we were uploading the podcast, I heard it. I was like, okay, she actually, like, who you, it was quality, like production. Who were you, can I ask who you've been working with? Who helped you out on that joint? But you don't have to name drop if it's somebody big. Might be some.
Majority of the album, I produced it.
What?
Yeah, I made all the beats, so just couldn't wait.
What? Oh my goodness.
All right, Kalana Celeste.
Yeah, and a friend of mine named Jovan, he helped co-produce that particular one.
Dope. So where can we follow you on social networks if you want to hear some more of your music or just see some more of your face and your point of view?
You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kalana Celeste. No space, no underscore, KALANACELEST.
I love it. Y'all, we gonna.
She over here being awesome in the cut. I make beats, I sing songs, I write songs. I had what?
Wait,
let's
you
go.
have an album release coming soon?
Yes, my first single, Capricorn, is going to be released on September the 1st. And the album, Back to Earth, will be released on October the 1st.
September the 1st, girl, that's coming up.
She got singles, she got albums.
You have a single coming up in a few days, and you.
The humble one. I love
yeah,
it.
you about to send it to us real soon?
I will.
Yes, you will.
Producers up in New York, we're trying to.
What?
Kalana.
Kind of crazy, and it comes out like New York, so it's like New York.
Ooh.
We love Bjork.
She just name drop Bjork.
Are you
my
serious?
goodness.
We love Bjork. No.
Not done right, then it can confuse the people.
I love it. Okay, but so we going. So are you a Capricorn?
Libra, baby.
Okay,
Girl,
but
you need to get
the single's called Capricorn, which it already speaks to me because I am a Capricorn.
That he's part of the influence that brought me back to Earth, which is the album.
Okay, dope.
We need to get your
Nah,
hippie ass
why
on this
not?
mic
You need
more
to- you need
often.
to talk- No,
No.
I honestly don't like you being around and not like sharing this all with us. Like we could be helping to
Yeah.
whatever, whether it's promoting or even just being support. It's good to know. She just told me that she got a single coming out on September 1st. And when's the album? October the 5th. Dope, Kalana.
Girl, what's going on out here?
Man, look, we're about to take a break to play ThatActorGuy by Kalana Celeste, but if you tuned into our Facebook Live, stay tuned for a live performance. What's the track you're going to do, Kalana?
It's called Wind and Water.
Wind and Water.
One of the terrible experiences with my
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Man.
Oh boy.
Kalana's about to take us somewhere, y'all. Stay tuned to the Misbelieve Radio Show. This is ThatActorGuy by Kalana Celeste. And stay tuned to the Facebook Live for a little something live, y'all. We'll be right back. Don't get nothing on you.
All Pisces matter.
Come on, man. Check this out.
I love her.
I'm mad at Kalana for not sharing all this with us.
Next, now I didn't know she was Jimi Hendrix's granddaughter, huh? She didn't say that either.
Jimi Hendrix's granddaughter. Yo. Do we need more light? I was just like to think, yeah, she want that.
Oh, you want it like this? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This is Kalana Celeste performing Wind and Water.
Sometimes we can give up so much, giving away pearls like they don't cost much, spoiling to the feeling, the price of always kneeling. A wild child, he don't need a girl with grace who can achieve. Maybe the problem, or is it a problem? Mysterious to the eye, a puzzle to the mind. I wonder, what if you heal a scar and yet it bleeds? A mark that never blends in. But wind can only move water. Can then maybe I could have joined your league. Tryouts failed. I wonder, what if I a spoken agreement? Hope that you meant it. It's what he wants. But what do you want? I wonder. I wonder. What if I... Thank you guys. My name is Kalana Celeste.
That was
I'm a proud parent. This is my daughter. My Libra daughter.
That was
Yes.
beautiful.
We're coming at everybody. Y'all better come and listen. Get that album. Get that EP. Get the singles.
Thank you.
Girl.
See? Doesn't it feel good?
Let it out.
See? I told you. It feels good. She's so shy.
I am shy.
She is so shy.
I feel
But with
it.
a voice, she has a great voice.
Yeah.
You need to. You can't
Really?
hide your voice from the world.
Right.
I'm, just getting it ready to perfect moment.
Right.
And sometimes perfection never happens.
I know.
But your voice is definitely ready. You're ready. Just let the people know. Let them feel it.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
By the way,
Just
y'all.
went down.
Yeah, Miss Mykia.
Thank you.
Woo.
Hi.
Hey, Mykia.
You want to sit down and we go through a quick one?
You should ask her to have it. Today's her day.
You're Pisces, I'm sorry. I rather you guys like every day. What?
I never hear Pisces get ragged on, though.
Don't?
No.
Don't get me
Usually we're the
started on
cool
live
ones.
Facebook. Really?
Did y'all really tell her how dope that was? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
how dope that was. Kalana.
So you're a Libra.
I'm trying to get some more of that music.
I told her.
Yes.
Black Bjork in New Orleans.
Right.
Her voice is very unique. I told her.
Yes. Thank
In
you.
a positive way. 'cause
Right,
it's-
no,
it's-
not like- not
It's
in a bad
unique,
way.
though. It's really is.
And I told her it's okay to be different.
Minute and a half.
It's okay to be
You want
different.
to do 1 minute? Got a minute left. I really got a minute.
We can add another song.
Huh?
We can add another
We just
song.
played 2 songs.
But why not? Break the mold. It's okay. We can do
That's
it.
not what we had for us. One of the things that Miss Susan Henry emphasized in the meeting was structure and not just doing whatever. It's not like, how we doing. So, my keys.
What's up, Robert Taylor? What up, Rob Cheesem? What up, Khaled Rummer? What up, Dominique? Uncle Ferg Ferguson? What up, Lauren? What up,
I'm
Uncle?
watching from Houston. No, he's not in Houston no more.
What up, Lauren Jackson?
Houston.
What up, Lamont Douglas? Nadine Jupiter?
Hey, Ma.
Do that now. It's already 8:03.
Elena Paquette?
Okay.
Portia Davis? How y'all doing out there? Sandra Anderson, Richard Henry, Alvin Harris, Tamika Jackson.
No. Mykia.
Come in
Yes. On this mic right here. This mic right here. That's all good. No. I'm trying to get you to get on his mic real quick. I thought we was going to have a different segment before you, but we don't.
Okay.
No, just have to gotta get up.
Somebody.
Over. Mine's just on the floor.
Yo, we all cheered up?
And we are.
Okay.
Yo, that was Trippin' by Kevin Styles. Before that, we played Poltergeist by Kalana Celeste, our own The Misbelief team member. And if you watched on the Facebook Live, she just really did an acapella number that, something about being in the room when they sing that song, but like you can always feel like the vibrations in the room, and it added to the emotion of the song. Y'all, she turned the lights down, it's had Indian style on the floor. It was magical. I loved it. Thank you so much, Kalana, and please be more vocal with us. If I'd have known you was releasing singles and albums soon, I would have said something.
I felt like she was hiding a superpower.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was a superpower.
She really was.
Yeah, she was.
Right.
Our
That
very
was
own Lady
amazing, yo. Our very
Martian.
own Lady Martian. So this is DC Paul, the Millennial Arsenio, and as usual, I keep a creative cast of colorful characters, my co-hosts and coons and cotton pickers. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm
You
sorry.
always go
I be
far.
trying to use my
Man.
C words and I don't know a whole lot. So anyway, who's this to my right side?
Not a coon or a cotton picker, but hi everybody, it's me, Oshun.
Hey,
Yay!
thank you for not being a coon or a cotton picker.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Who's this to my left?
That actor guy, Mr. Bats.
Mr.
What's your
Bats.
hand? What's your
Mr.
hand?
Batman.
What's your hand?
People have been telling me that they've been seeing you on a Netflix movie recently.
Word.
What? So Nola Circus is available on Netflix.
Much obliged. Everybody's been checking out Nola Circus on Netflix. Keep checking it out. If you
Yeah.
haven't, give it a shot. Nola Circus. Thank y'all. Because people be tagging me and stuff. And I'm like, damn, appreciate it. Much appreciate it. Because you don't expect it. Then they be like, I saw you. I was like, oh, thanks.
I feel like everybody who's seeing it using the same Netflix account. I ain't paying for it, but I've seen it too.
Probably.
And who's that to your left?
I concur with not being a coon or a cotton picker. This is Jay Steele.
Thank you for
What's
taking
up?
the high road.
I will always take the high road.
And over in the booth, who's that? What?
We didn't
Wait,
know
what?
Please.
Is it a ghost?
We didn't hear nothing.
I guess they don't have no microphone over there. Whatever.
Oh.
But that's Madania.
But let him keep talking.
He's gonna keep talking.
And then also, I guess
Hello,
the
Mykia.
Mastermind's microphone don't work either. But y'all, yeah, we can't hear y'all. But this is our second interview segment on the Miss Belief Radio Show. We're here with the beautiful and talented Miss Mykia Jovan. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh, they are in the booth. Oh man, okay, we're gonna give you a real applause, man. We're gonna give you a real applause. Mykia Jovan.
Oh, now we
Now
get
we
it.
go.
Oh,
There it is.
It don't even matter now.
Just like performing live.
Oh, but if only you could get the canned applause every time you perform live, that would really boost the performance. Okay, so Mykia, gotta ask you the first question we ask all about Misbelief guests. You know what a misbelief is?
A
Yeah.
fruit.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
She get it.
She didn't know where you were
So when
going.
you get real deep, you be like, is it something you believe is not true? I'm like, what is that? A disbelief? I don't know.
Yo, she looked at you like you was gonna hit her in the face with a
Right,
pie.
right.
Like you was gonna pie her if she got it wrong.
It's
Like
gonna be a boing, boing, boing. Instead, there's a... Correct. You got any stories about these fruits from your childhood? Like we all have. This is kind of what connects us as millennials.
Honestly, my grandparents had a tree, and they were always very sour.
Yeah.
oh, so you was privileged. You misbelieved privilege.
She was misbelief privileged. She had direct contact.
She had direct
with
contact.
an actual tree in her grandparents' yard. That's why yours was sour, because you don't have nobody's fence to get in.
Right.
We the
Somebody's
fence jumpers out around
Right.
these
Stealing
parts.
stuff out of aunties and grandma's backyard.
So, Mykia Jovan, if I can get personal real quick, I've known you since the late 1900s. We've been familiar since the late 1900s. I went to high school with you. I've always known you to be talented, gracious and beautiful, artistic, and just full of presence and energy. So I first was introduced to you as an actress in high school. And nowadays, for the past how many years now you've been Lord.
About 8 years now.
Is it just 8 years? Because at one point you had an ongoing gig at. Are you still ongoing at the Blue Nile?
I am.
What? And at 3090?
Yeah.
And where else?
That's all.
Okay.
My weeklies.
Those are your weeklies? Nice. What days?
Sundays at Blue Nile from 7:30 to 10.
It's tomorrow.
It is tomorrow.
Mhm.
Dang, I won't be there tomorrow. I'm on vacation.
Dope.
But 3090 on Thursdays from 9:30 to until they put us out, and that's with Smoking Bones.
With Smoking Bones. You've been putting in that work.
Trying to.
Absolutely. So you got a new project coming out. Pronounce this word for me, please.
Eliyahu.
Eliyahu.
Yeah.
Eliyahu is the name of your project. It's full. Is it a visual as well, or is it just an audio project?
It is just an audio project.
Okay, tell me more about it.
Well, it's a compilation of songs that I've written over the years. They're all love songs centered around idolatry. Deciding, well, it was a long journey since maybe age 22, and I'm 32 now. I just told y'all my age.
I knew it already, but
I know.
everybody else.
But just figuring out the difference between Lord and God. Like, who's the Lord in
Come
your
on.
life, the person that you're with, and interpersonal relationships, we kind of make masters of ourselves and each other.
I am into this already.
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of songs that are all love songs, and it's each song you have an opportunity to decide. Are you gonna go God's way, meaning your full true self, or are you going to put an idol before yourself?
Oh my goodness.
She came in here with the crystal, so I felt
You know my nerves are bad, bro.
You come and talk to me, though.
I know, but there's people here.
Right. Okay. Well, let's pretend it's just me and you, because I've been. Look, you were the first Laura to my Steve Urkel back in high school. Lord knows I was so obsessed.
We talking about McMahon.
Talking about McMahon. I was so
okay.
obsessed with Mykia, Jovan, man. Like you are everything to me. But like even back then, I was like, man, she is just. You know,
I felt the
I'm
same
sorry.
way.
No, you know you did. You did not.
I did.
Laura
He's so
does
funny.
it.
He's so handsome. It was like, I guess you're Stefan now.
Wait, so he was funny and handsome back then.
Yeah, things change.
He's still
So Eliyahu, what is it? Let me not pronounce it like that. Eliyahu is the release date is September 1st.
Yes.
And you're having a release party at Cafe Istanbul.
At Cafe Istanbul.
So the first hour of it is a Q&A and listening, and then after that we have a live performance by you.
Mm-hmm.
All new stuff from this album.
The entire album, and also Baron Amon and the Satellites.
My man, and also Spirit and Sparrow.
Absolutely.
I love those two individuals, man. I've seen them perform live, and it's just something about when you can feel somebody's music when you're in a room with it. It's, you know, that's what I always am attracted to. So that's September 1st at Cafe Istanbul, 20 at the door, 15 in advance, right? So I remember seeing you at. I felt that same feeling when they had the Magic Hour when Dope Sided did that outside, and some of those are songs I had not heard you do at the other sets. Does that mean that's coming from stuff that's gonna be on this album? No, even so you just got all
That's for the
kinds
next album. I'm playing catch up.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer, so my mind's already on the next project.
So we played 16 shots on this episode already, and as on a bunch of other episodes, we also have Feast on the Flowers. We probably gonna play that coming up, right? When can we look? So are these two numbers on Eliyahu?
Yes.
Good.
So that was the two singles we decided to release.
Okay. And will we get something else for radio? First of all, is it all radio friendly? Because I know you got a little mouth on you.
Okay. I had to think about that.
So when the album's released, can I pick something else that I can put into our rotation?
You know what?
Whatever I'm attracted to.
I love you.
You ain't gonna give me the album. Lord have mercy. The physical copy.
Yeah, but it's hard to open, so maybe later.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, man, give
She was gracious. I got an advanced copy of Eliyahu by Mykia, Jovan, and this is what
beautiful.
what we're playing.
That cover is by Gus Bennett.
Gus.
First of all, yes, this is definitely a Gus Bennett photo because she captures like the outer and inner beauty of a person.
Right.
So if you see the album cover for Eliyahu, she's using it in her digital promotion as well as physical promotion. But this is beautiful.
What does Eliyahu mean?
Well, it's tricky because I spelled it differently. But originally, it's a Hebrew name, the highest, most exalted one. So that goes back to who is the highest, most exalted one in the moment, yourself or your master. You feel me?
Yeah. So what led you on this this road to making your album with that concept in mind? Because that's layered.
Well,
Very layered.
I don't like to talk about him.
It's a him.
But we can hear the album to figure out how you talk about him. I heard that.
Well, actually, no, you can't, because I was really clever. Eliyahu is somebody's name.
Is really you going Taylor Swift on him?
No, okay. So let me be real. Let's be transparent for a second. At 21 years old, I committed myself to a man 10 years older than me. I was running away from, I'm a preacher's kid, so I was running away from a certain lifestyle in the arms of someone else who pretty much did the same domineering things. So he is not on the album. There's no remnant of him on the album.
Right.
But the idea of deciding for myself each step in my life, am I gonna do what I did before? Do I need a master? Do I need somebody to tell me what to do in order to blossom?
So he's the seed in the situation for the project. Yeah.
Jeez. So me and Oshun having to sleep over tonight. Don't ask.
Don't ask.
We are and we listen to Eliyahu.
We will all night.
Definitely all night. Definitely. Thank you so much, my kids. My September 1st at Cafe Istanbul, 20 at the door, 15 in advance, and follow her on social networks, Mykia Jovan, MYKIA. Jovan. No space in between it on Instagram, but you put a space in between on Facebook if you want to find her. It's also the same way I keep Jovan Music on Twitter. Look, see, I tell you, I was Steve Urkel, she was Laura. I love this girl, man. Thank you so much, Mykia. And I can't wait to choose a new song to put on in our rotation from Eliyahu. But we're about to play Feast on the Flowers, aren't we? Yo. Stay tuned to the Make Believe Radio Show. This is DC Paul here with the beautiful Mykia Jovan. Thank you so much for coming. Don't get nothing on you.
Damn, she got him saying it different.
I know, right? He's like, don't get nothing on you.
I'm
Can
so.
you hold your necklace out for me? I don't want to put my energy on it. Yeah.
That's really pretty.
Indeed.
This one is from Colombia. They handmade it in the village that I was at. And this one I bought from.
So can you explain that to me? Because I'm a muggle when it comes to the crystals and such.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know much. I'll be honest. I started using worry stones because I tremble when I speak. Public speaking is really hard for me. So I transitioned from just picking up stones to crystals, and they have different properties for different occasions. You probably know when.
Quartz is usually calming. It's usually calming. It's something that a lot of people use as their base stone, and it transfers energy from the stone to yourself or vice versa. That's why I told her, right, and that's why I told her, you pick it up and let me see it, because I don't want to transfer my energy into your stone, especially if that's something that you keep in your possession and that's something that carries you and calms you. Because my spirit is way different than what she has, you know. And my calming energy might not be hers. And spirit changes from thing to thing, and it can jump from thing to thing. Especially when it comes down to something like that, like crystals. Crystals, stones, pendants. Just like, I hate to put it like this, but like Harry Potter, when he had the Horcrux. And, you know, they had to kill each Horcrux, but that was a part of Voldemort. So that's the only way he's going to understand what I'm saying.
I love her nerd, man. Yes.
So it's like that. So when you have things like that and you transfer those energies to it, a lot of people charge them with like the sun or like the eclipse. I put all mine outside for the eclipse. And so I have that eclipse energy. Like we were joking about it, but that's a real thing. Like that sun moon energy, it gets into you, right? Dark light and regular light. It gets into you and you like balances you out. So it's something interesting.
Man, thanks to Mike for setting this up. Anytime I can get to see Miss Mykia Jovan.
Shout out to my manager.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
In New York, Afropunk.
Are they there?
Yeah.
They should be. Yeah, Dope Sided was there when I was there, man, and they was making some sales. They have actually a very good brand for Afropunk.
Yes, I got you. Okay. I already know.
Who shouting out McMahon Mustang? Shout out to Taylor was Jam.
What's up? Oh, and Lush Alliance. Oh.
That's my cousin.
Right? Representing. We from the Hassenbola days.
I got gifts for y'all, so.
You got gifts for us?
Yeah, from Taking Down Note.
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that.
I got some
He about to come bring it in.
Okay, good. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I looked at the time and was like, damn. Well, of course, more about like majority of artist types, because he's talking about at B Mike at Studio B, they had this like collection of the minds.
Yeah, it's called It's About Time.
Talk about what to do next as far as like take them down, all this stuff with dealing with Confederate statues, dealing with just the movement. You know what I'm saying? He was like, well, let's get some of the minds together, get some of the young millennials together. Let's get the people who give a damn about shit, who talk that shit, and let's talk that shit is what it seemed like it was supposed to be. But we was here, so couldn't make it. But I was very curious to be like, I was curious to be what it was.
I wanted to be there too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with us having this platform and us having a voice, if we all stick together and use our voices, then shit might get done.
And he was just talking about the statues, but like Malik went, so we could see, Malik could be our reporter on the scene.
I know, Malik.
On the
Come
scene.
give us the action reporter news.
Yeah, give us that rundown.
It's so funny how you was running it down when I had experienced the week before last with a crystal at the Jazz Market, and it was my first crystal, and it actually Like it chose me. Yeah, I felt it. I picked it up.
See?
I want a crystal. Give me a crystal.
We're new age
We can
black
go to
millennials
the
in the
bodega.
world, so we do
Huh?
things
The
like that.
Bodega de Botanica.
What is that?
You know what Zulu Club is?
Yeah.
They have a botanica right across
Hey,
the street.
Like
Not,
Can you get them from the healing
Those
center?
are good.
don't forget them from the healing center.
Are you gonna speak on it? And I think we're back. Hey, Devin.
still playing music.
Could took a smoke break if I didn't know he was playing 2 songs.
I don't know if you're doing
Okay, good.
Good.
So,
So, Malik, you staying in here? No, you talking. So you go get your stuff.
I mean, you can the mic.
No, because we gonna
set the
do
mic
St.
before?
Colson
Okay.
stuff later. So don't, yeah, come on, go get your stuff.
Oh shit.
Oh, no, my mommy don't like when I start talking about crystals because she think it's
Work of the devil. That witchcraft. That hocus pocus.
My mama just texted me and said, "Girl, what are you talking about?" Mommy.
She's talking about that sorcerer's stone.
Exactly. No, he's joking, but that's exactly what it is.
I mean, it kind of.
Right. And that was the only thing that I could get him to like relate it to, so I had to say what I knew he would understand.
Pull this up over right there.
Go. Man, we got everybody in this thing. Let me see. Let me read. My eyes. Oh, thank you. You so handy. Oh, I'm sorry. At least we didn't have no place this time. I want to switch the camera around, but I don't know how to do that. Oh, do y'all know that y'all can invite people to y'all Facebook Live groups now? Like, if you have a Facebook Live, you can.
That's what you did? I think
With
you
my
did
mommy
that.
and my
The other day,
sister,
I was confused.
yeah.
Like, wait, what's this?
It's like Facebook three-way.
Wait, what can you do?
It's like if you have a Facebook Live, you can invite somebody to Facebook Live with you, and they'll be shown. Like,
Like a party line.
yep.
Wait, hold up. You can do 3 on Facebook Live?
Yes.
Who's Facebook doing it more?
Me and my mommy was doing it. Me and my sister was doing it. Brandon Williams said he see his brother Brian cooling in the corner. Yeah, he cooling. He be turning out whatever.
That didn't respond back to me when I.
Wait, so wait, for real, DC ain't gonna be here next week?
Next week, so you in charge.
Yeah.
Look at the face of in charge. I don't.
That's the man you got to
Oh, God.
Kalana, one of them, Brian. What are y'all?
Somebody give me updates.
You have to, yeah, so you have to talk to Kalana before we leave tonight.
Where DC going? Where you gonna be at?
Probably Freaknik.
Oh, so he's just leaving for no real reason.
Right.
Enjoy himself.
Right.
He gonna tell us, why she like, oh, it's a business, no, motherfucker.
Right.
You gonna have fun. All right. Now we know.
He know my hands be shaking.
Back next week.
So you ready to get on his mic and tell us what's going on?
Oh, I'm glad you said that. What's going on this week? Let me get my.
No, what's going on is you gonna tell us about what Fight Back Manifesto. Oh, Jesus Christ. I tried, I got the shakes.
She said, I got the shakes.
Yeah, but Brandon said, what's up?
What's up? What's up, Brandon? How's the baby?
I love the fact that my mom is very supportive, but
Whoa,
very
what up, B?
judgmental, all at the same time. And you know what, Mom? I love
She said, y'all cuss on here?
We cuss on the Facebook Live. Fucking right we do, goddammit.
Mom!
But we back in.
Two.
And we're live. I hope you didn't catch up in it. Did you catch it? Okay, good. We're live, yo. Welcome back to the Miss Belief Radio Show here on WBOK AM 1230. I'm your host, DC Paul, the Millennial Arsenio. And you already know all of my co-hosts, y'all. This is my favorite segment. It's called What's Going On Out Here.
What's going on out
You
here?
hear me? It's where we talk about all of our local talking points, topics, news, events, people, things that are happening here in the city. So I'm gonna pick first my girl Jay Steele. Jay Steele, keep it real. What's going on out here?
What's going on out here is Louisiana Fest happened yesterday.
Oh, Louisiana, sure
Yeah,
did. Did you go?
Louisiana. No, I didn't go. I know
Okay.
a few people that went, but I didn't actually get an opportunity to
I ain't hear
go.
no
I heard
good
about
things
it though.
about it. These are good
Well,
things.
I heard a few things about it. So, as you know, the event, or if you didn't know, the event started in 2015 to coincide with the 10th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
And what people really like, or typically like about Louisiana Fest is the surprise guests or people that he brings out with him.
Okay.
The problem with this year is that, you know, he had a few good names. He brought out Mac Main. He brought out old school bounce artists, Lady Red, Lil Twist, Gutta Gutta, you know, a few people. And a few people were upset because...
Did you say everybody from Squad Up? Did you say people that from Gutta Gutta and people that was on Squad?
She said Lil Twist.
I said Lil Twist.
Lil Twist was on...
That's not even Squad.
That was Young Money, Cash Money, the dude with the mohawk.
The dude with the
Yeah.
Young dude with the mohawk.
Yeah.
So...
The problem with it was people felt like, okay, this was it. But what they did, if you stayed until I think it was about 11, almost midnight, they brought out Jadakiss, and then they surprised everybody at the very end, almost midnight, and brought out Monica.
Really? Yeah,
Yes.
I saw on social network Monica was in town. Okay.
So she performed. She was the very last act, but you had to stay.
Dope.
So I've heard it was it was so.
Well,
It was
Jadakiss,
okay.
how much were them tickets?
I don't know how much the tickets were.
Jadakiss was.
I know they weren't cheap though.
Yeah,
I know they weren't cheap at all.
Bart put his name on it.
Right.
I'm saying, who did he have last year? Then there wasn't like a No Limit Cash Money reunion type
Got
of.
No Limit Cash Money combination reunion.
That's
No,
what we
man.
find?
If I remember correctly, No Limit Cash Money came together last year for Lil WeezyAna.
Really? Did it
And
happen?
it was a big thing. He
That's
brought
what
out
I said.
Buku.
It
He brought out a
comes
bunch of New Orleans legends. Like, and that was a big deal. Everybody was like, dang, this was the joint because Lil Wayne united the city with all these legends and such. So then you come tell me this year we had Monica. It's like,
Wait. Now Monica did.
Right.
She dated C Murder.
She got love from New Orleans.
So
Right.
if we gonna reach for it, then she been here a lot, man. She be here a lot, and every time I see her on social network, she be in them. I don't want to say hole in the wall, but she be in them dive bars.
She
She be in
do.
them dive bars. Her and Mia X, and
you know I gotta say that.
huh?
So everybody was talking about how Lil Wayne, man, he brought out all these legends, man. He was like repping for the city and brought the city together, man. If that was last year, man, how do you have Monica?
Oh.
Yeah, so a lot of people were disappointed because of that. But
You peeped that rewind, right? You peeped that rewind. I just want you to know. Okay, cool.
But Bats was not happening. He was like, let me rewind and say what I said. Well, I guess that's what's going on out here. Bats, what you got, man? What's going on out here, brother?
Man, well, I got a couple of crazy stories, but I'm gonna keep it real with a normal one, kind of normal. Man, this Angola employee, apparently, man, she stole $116,000. I'm asking.
Angola?
wait,
From the
At one time?
A former Louisiana State Penitentiary official has been sentenced. I'm not going to tell you what because I want to see if you can guess how long she got for this.
But the zoo
So-
was the where?
wait, how
$116,000. She was stole from a nonprofit committee that provided recreational opportunities for prison employees. Now, how long do you think she got for that? For
for that?
for stealing $100K,
From
116.
Angola?
years.
I'm gonna say she got a good 10 years.
10
At
years?
least I
Better
say
have lost her
15.
job.
At least 15.
You say 15 years?
15. I agree with
Y'all
you.
say 10, 15 years?
She leave it fake.
This is Louisiana. She got like a good year or 2 years.
Then about 2 years. She got 5 years probation, y'all.
5 years.
Are you kidding me?
Did she have to get the money back?
Dude, yeah, she is ordered to repay. She's ordered to repay nearly one. So she ain't got even paid all back, but nearly $116,000. 47-year-old Shirley Whittington appeared Wednesday before U.S. District Judge James Brady, who called her greedy. Ooh, greedy, and decided.
Like a slap on the hand. Really?
Come on.
And decided rather than sentence her to prison, he'd rather see her repay the victim she stole from. Whittington attained the rank of colonel and served as treasurer of the Angola Employee Recreation Committee before resigning amid the federal investigation last September. So yeah, you see, she got 5 months, y'all, and I was like, wait.
5 months probation.
Wow, that's not even like.
5 years.
Guess the race.
Oh, we ain't gotta guess.
Yeah,
the
we-
Yeah, we know.
We don't guess the race.
We know.
We
We know.
already
No,
know.
we know. That was rhetorical.
We already
That was
know.
Yeah, she greedy.
rhetorical. She greedy.
That's what's going on out here.
You can steal $100,000 and get 5 months, no jail time. This is
Right.
crazy.
5 months or 5 years?
5. I'm
5
sorry.
years.
I'm sorry.
5 years.
It's 5 years probation, but you ain't do no time though. That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, well that's what's going on out here.
One of them.
Malik, brother man, you
going
just
on?
came back from an event I wish I had a chance to go to, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Tell me about it. What's going on out here?
So at Studio B, they hosted a session called "It's About Time." "It's About Time" was hosted by Brandon B. Mike Odoms, who just got back from Palestine in the Middle East as he toured the oppression that was in the Middle East. He got back today, and the brother already at work. He teamed up with Take 'Em Down NOLA, the People's Assembly, as well as another group called Paperless Monuments, and they got artists of color together to talk about what they can do to replace the Confederate monuments that was taken down. So this is a group of young activists who are coming together to be proactive instead of reactive. So they're talking collectively about what they can do to not only replace the monuments, but what can go in instead artistically.
Right.
So they're trying to come up with some type of plan to present to the city to replace those monuments that was taken down.
Replace those monuments with things by visual artists?
Yeah, visual artists. So concepts, people. Also, Leon Waters, who is a historian and a tour guide in the city, he was there to give an educational insight on the history of oppression in New Orleans. Angela K-Law gave a history on taking down NOLA, because a lot of people think, especially nationwide, that the Confederate monuments thing was led by the city or the mayor. And Angela reminded them that they organized when Barack Obama was president.
Even before that,
right?
They said this was decades in the making. Them trying to get
exactly.
those.
So people like Barbara Leon, as a mother from the NAACP, like since like the 60s and 70s, Black people in the city have been leading the march to take down Confederate monuments, as well as, I don't know if you remember, but when we was kids, they changed all of the New Orleans public schools.
Yeah,
so that was a committee that got together, and it was like we refused to have our children go to school with names of Confederate generals. So like Frederick Douglass was I forgot the name of their school before they changed, but Beauregard changed Thurgood Marshall, Robbie Lee. So the New Orleans public school system changed all.
But so this was years that they had to do it, because just recently my elementary school, maybe a few years ago, was Bienville. It became Arthur Ashe, and like a lot of these schools, even like we were well into college, and they still was fighting to get certain names. I know that McDonald's in particular, people fight like 3-5. They want to, the people don't want that to be changed, but everybody's saying we want all the John McDonald's to be gone, because that dude was treacherous. But people get married and connected to, I went to McDonald 35, I went to John Mack, I went to this and that, and it's like it becomes a fight at times.
Yeah, so it's good to understand our history in New Orleans, because New Orleans is a historical city, and we live our history every day. What a lot of people don't know is John McDonald actually financed the initiation of New Orleans public schools. So when he died, he was a bachelor, and he gave billions of dollars to Baltimore and New Orleans to start the school system.
Him and Delgado together.
Him and Delgado also, a lot of people don't know that he was also, he just did a lot of things. He was a very interesting character. So
interesting to say the least, but
because he freed most of his Africans. Like he was like, if you work your way out and you pay me, I will give you your freedom. So I mean, this is a great conversation to talk about. What people are talking about is, what is the criteria of insult that is needed to take something down. And that conversation is going on nationwide now.
I mean, it's going across the board. I got to get because I'm not about to go back and forth with our historian right now until I get bring it up. But I will tell you this. I remember I was doing this play, and I had to learn all kind of crazy stuff about these people. And John McDonald specifically stood out as doing all type of crazy stuff. So even though he might have did all that, many devils did great things. You feel me? So I just remember like, damn, he did that. I'm wishing I had it in the forefront of my mind. But I ain't about to go back and forth with the historian. But I'm gonna just say this. Dumb. That's a very, like you said, is a prudent conversation to have about who get taken down when. But I just hate when they go into the Trump stuff. Like Trump try to throw out, we're gonna take down Martin Luther King, and we're gonna take. It's like, come on, dog. You know it got way more nuance than this bullcrap you just spewing.
Man. So I didn't go to the. What's it? It's About Time was the name of the thing at the Studio B. But Quest did send me some paperwork on it. I didn't know this. So the 2017 city budget. 63% of it goes towards cops, jails, and reactive programs, while only 3% of it goes towards families and 1% goes towards job development. Now, this is the paperwork he sent me. It's coming from Quest, and I feel like he's done his research. You know what I'm talking about. But 63% of the city budget goes towards cops, jails, and reactive programs. Imagine if that 63% were invested into children, families, and job development. And I guess that's one of his talking points here at the It's About Time. I wish I went to that, man.
I mean, I do too, because all the people that he tagged and like he sent the invite to, I'm just looking at him like, dang, like you really serious about getting, like you said, the young millennial minds together. And I just, it was like, we got to do this, but I'm glad you was able to go, dude.
Well, Well, no, and I know that they know what we're doing, and they know we support them. So it was just great. I mean, D1 was there, B Mike was there, Angela K-Log. I mean, then also we had a lot of the elders there. So this is not something that is just being void of just millennial young people. It's great to see millennials reach out to the older people and say, give us that foundation, that information, and knowledge.
By the way, Quest, you told me if I want you to call in after 8:30, our new number, I texted it to you already, is 942-0820. Quest, if you want to call in and tell us more about It's About Time. Man, I don't get a whole lot of texts from B Mike he texted me like 3 times in the past 4 or 5 years that I can remember. He texted me about this one. I was like, first of all, how you gonna know? But secondly, man, if I get a text from B. Mike Odoms, I feel like it's something important to show my ass up at.
You better be there.
Yeah, so if I wasn't here doing the radio show, I would have been at It's About Time. I mean, I'm not a visual artist, so whatever I can do to help replace those monuments and let it be something that at least highlights one of our black visual artists in the city. I'm there to see it happen.
They want the creative minds. We are creative minds.
We're creative minds, yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I can't tell Cole Young what to paint, what to do. I can't tell B. Mike what to construct, but yeah, I'm gonna support and be like, yeah, that was nice. You should keep that up, you know. So that's what's going on out here. Quest one more time, and if you're listening, 504-942-0820. Give us a call. In the meantime, Oshun.
Yes.
What's going on out here?
I have a few, but this one stuck out. The second line they rallied to celebrate the 12th anniversary of Hurricane Katrina is going to happen from the lower ninth one. They're going to march all the way to the 7th one. Sorry.
When is that?
It's supposed to be happening August the 29th, of course, and it begins at 10 a.m.
Tuesday. In a few days. That's Tuesday.
Q93 is going to be there, and we're going to have a whole lot of people there. But it's going to be a second line. It's going to start out as a march from the night wall. And then it's going to turn into the second line according to what the people say. But I'm pretty sure
in the lower ninth across the canal?
Yeah. And then it's
what time on Tuesday?
10 a.m.
10 a.m. on Tuesday?
Beginning at 10 a.m.
Okay, hopefully everybody can get that day off.
Right, because I can't.
I would love to. But
so what year anniversary is this for?
12.
It's 12.
It's 12.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was there for the 10-year anniversary. What did I do for the 11 year? I must have just sat that one out. But that 10-year anniversary was lit, man. Everybody was out there. And we actually did walk across that canal. Me and Joseph and a few friends, man, had a good time.
DC, you just said something really powerful. I wonder why the city does not shut down in commemoration of Katrina. It seems like for that event, the city government, like everybody should be a day of reflection.
But you know what?
Some people got trauma though, dog.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's
true.
But maybe we can offer services for those people, where to get their minds off it and be, you know what I'm saying? So maybe we can offer those type of services that identify people who still need help.
Well, here's the thing: the city of New Orleans gets more like official off days in other parts of the country. So then, and because of that, they take away like certain federal holidays or national holidays that other people have. So if we would get every August 29th off, for how long? And then who gets it? Everybody, people who weren't even living when it happened. Your boy here was 12 when Katrina happened. If he gets to not go to school on Tuesday just because, that's a little like, all right, you know, we talking about progress.
Oh my God, so we know that dude
He
was a Katrina baby.
He was a Katrina baby.
He's 12 now.
Well, we should have talked about that when he was born in 05.
Yeah.
He was on somebody, parents having those jobs.
I was just going to go there about it going down in the Superdome.
No, not the Superdome. But no, not that. But you know, we all didn't have no jobs, so we had a lot of spare time during those times. A lot of babies got made.
Yep.
Trying to say that boy was conceived while they were waiting on the FEMA check. You trying to say that boy was conceived while the parents was waiting on the FEMA check.
No.
You know what? Mastermind, what is going on out here? Because Malik done took it somewhere else. What's going on out here?
Hashtag FEMA trailer sex. Hashtag FEMA trailer sex.
See, ain't nobody understand all that.
FEMA trailer sex.
No.
Hold on, wait. Hold on,
no,
Mastermind.
no.
Before we go any further. This episode, we have said sperm necklace, clitoris bracelet, and female trailer sex. So Mastermind,
This is a pretty
top
dope.
that. What's going on out here? Female trailer sex? You can't top female trailer sex? True that. A lot of people think the fight is fixed, so I mean, I think I would say that if it was fixed, the fact that McGregor is supposed to underdog, he might just win, and all the others a whole bunch of money. If you're looking for somewhere to, Kalana say it ain't gonna happen. If you're looking for somewhere to watch the fight, well, I mean, I got work to do tonight, but Ray's on the average showing the fight. starting right now at 8 o'clock. Also, C&G Cigar Lounge in Metairie, they're having a fight party as well. And just people in general.
If it's fixed, it's not gonna be Mayweather ain't gonna take no freaking loss on his record. So if it's fixed, it's gonna be towards Mayweather, if anything. and he's already the favorite.
Right.
Because I can't just see how cocky this dude is, him accepting, like, yeah, I'm going to let this McGregor dude beat me. You know what I'm saying? And be that one smudge, this white boy, I can't see Mayweather agreeing to that. On his side. Because he already the money coming in. You know, he has all the money, the rich person.
I bet it'd be a disqualification.
That'd be interesting.
On Monday Mayweather's part.
Oh.
Yep, and everybody's gonna just be like, "What?" And he ain't gonna be able to defend it. Like, well, I mean, I disqualified. I tried it, and you're gonna lose all your money.
It's funny is a lot of people are thinking that McGregor might slip up and do a kick or something. What if Mayweather slipped up and did a kick?
Just a real kick.
First time out, Spartan kick McGregor in the chest.
He slip up and get a glass bottle and break it over something, and be like, "Where'd you get this glass bottle at the boxing ring?" Well, you know. The hood. Bash, man, what else is going on out here,
man? I got this crazy story, dog. So apparently, the police arrested this Gretna man who was accused of pointing a shotgun at a Cox Cable employee during a dispute over service. And when the authorities got there, they found a bomb. So,
wait.
Cox Cable will take you there. They will take you there.
They sure will.
A couple times I wanted to mouth off a couple Cox Cable members too. You know, I had to remember they was regular people just working the job. But tell me what happened.
All right, so an unidentified male employee of Cox called 911 and he asked for help. He told police he had trouble with a customer at home. The home's resident, identified as Christopher Dove, was fuming when the Cox Cable employee arrived. Dove told officers the cable installer was 23 hours late for the appointment.
Oh, wow, yep.
Although the Cox employee tried to explain that he only received the work order an hour earlier, Dove began using obscenities, according to authorities. The two exchanged angry words before the employee turned to leave, and as he climbed into the van, the Cox employee saw Dove walk out of the house's front door with a shotgun.
Oh my goodness.
The arrest report said.
Wow.
Responding officers took Dove into custody after he tried to exit through the back door. And then when police searched the street home of the shotgun dude, officers spotted an explosive device in the dude's house.
What kind of mess?
It was duct taped together and looked like a pipe bomb.
In New Orleans?
It was in Jefferson Parish.
Okay.
Across the river.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So yeah, I read this story and laughed because it was just so vivid. Like, dog, you go there, just turn somebody cable on, and he pulled that shotgun out on you, and he got bombs.
Wow.
That's what's happening. That's what's going on out here.
If you a Cox Cable employee,
watch out there now.
Don't go to the West
wear a
Wing.
rosary or something. Yeah, don't go to Jefferson
Wear a
Parish.
rosary?
They got rifles and bombs if you're 23 hours late.
Gretna. This is in Gretna, so this that West Bank madness.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and what race are they? We got pictures on it. What does he look like? Who got a pipe bomb in his house in Gretna? Let me think. Yeah. And Jerome. That isn't okay.
Not Jamal.
It's not Jamal.
It's not even Shaheed.
That's an ethnic. Okay.
No.
J Still. So do you have a J Still keeping it real segment? We got about 17 minutes left in the episode. I want you to keep it real. I want Bats to get that neck, and I want us and Kofa Burst to do their thing. You want to keep it real for me, J Still?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it real for you right quick. So I want to talk about a little bit about Real, R-E-E-L.
Yeah.
J Still's gonna keep it real.
So if y'all don't know, our own J Still, she's a film actress and a television actress, and she be getting that work along with our homie Mr. Bats, but it ain't about him right
Ain't
now.
about me at all.
It's about J Still. She keeps it real with 2 E's.
2 E's.
So what's the real? Give me the real.
So we all know Girl Trip is breaking all kind of records.
Yeah.
It was a breakout comedy of the year, made like $65 million. But there's still the problem of diversity and inclusion within the industry.
Mm-hmm.
The good thing about this movie is that it proved that films with diverse, mostly black casts can win at the box office, like Hidden Figures, Get Out, Ride Along 2. You know, movies like this really prove that black people can be shown in many different lights and that we have many different dimensions and we don't have to be put into the subcategory that can't be consumed by mainstream people.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is, even so, recently there was a panel at UCLA that found that between 2014 and 2015, only 2 of the 407 directors of television and film were African American women. So there's still a large discrepancy in the industry for especially female directors, but also black female actresses.
Mm-hmm.
They also found that in 2015, no African American women were credited as directors or writers in major films. And of the 168 films released during that time, only 2 featured African American women as lead actors. It's different now. We have shows like Insecure, we have shows like Atlanta, different things are coming along, but it's still Queen Sugar. That's right. But Claws. That's right. But it's still a discrepancy. But I do, with this being said, there's a lot being done to try and progress this movement of black film and black faces and inclusion and especially for black women, because it's really difficult out here as a black woman to see yourself in different roles, because we're put into, I guess, this mold of this is what you're going to be, black woman, in this movie, versus seeing all these different colors and shades and personalities. So we have people like Issa Rae, who wrote and started Insecure, which actually started from Awkward Black Girl, which was a YouTube series.
I was into Awkward Black Girl.
I've never seen it, but I've heard it was great.
Yeah, it was.
And then we also have...
It's good pre-context for Insecure.
Right, and then we also have, of course, people like Shonda Rhimes, who is the first African-American woman to create and execute and produce a top 10 network series. We also have Ava DuVernay, who is the EP of Queen Sugar, but she also has her own network called Array, where she gives black women and black women directors and writers and actresses a platform, and she finds these different independent and smaller women, kind of like Issa Rae, and gives them a platform to express themselves and express their art. So I think it's really going to take for there to be a more collective movement and for there to be more little, subcultures and spaces for women and black women to create these things and for it to be a discussion and continuous discussion. So
that's just keeping it real, man. Issa Rae, I love how she's doing her thing as far as black women in media. I am new to the podcast game, but she's got apparently a scripted fictional series in podcast form called Fruit that was just released. It explores a football player's sexual journey. It's about hypermasculinity and sexuality, I guess, from the gaze of a black male athlete, which I think is hella creative.
That's wonderful, because that's another perspective that you don't get to see often.
And why didn't we think of doing a scripted series via podcast?
They got a few.
I kind of did. I had
they have a few out right now, because Lorenz Tate has a really popular one going as well. And he has a whole bunch of top names that often appear on his and on a regular basis. So no, that's the thing that's becoming. Actors are starting to do that.
Let's talk.
That's definitely
Let's
possible.
talk. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that one, yo. That's a good idea, because of Miss Billy's fam. Other than that, man. So Martin, Mr. Bass Bradford.
Yeah.
So I see you've been really trying to hold it in the whole episode. You got loud a couple times, but I know you just boiling underneath the top of the pot. Is that how the phrase goes? Anyway,
What?
I don't know.
Foolish.
Boiling underneath the top of the pot. What are you doing? So I like to let you go unbridled and give that neck to a worthy recipient.
Yeah.
Who is just smacking on the back of the neck this week?
I mean, well, as your doctor of economics, as your master of activities, today I don't have. I'm kind of under the weather.
What?
I'm a bit under the
I thought
weather.
the pot was boiling over the top.
Man, it's not boiling over the top. It might start boiling over the top, but it's an interesting thing. I mean, when you look at media, that's what I'm looking at right now. Is media. Like, what made us believe? What made white people believe that that thugs were wearing like baggy clothes or had to be black or had to be dark? That's usually something that we learn from TV, right? From from images that we input, and for whatever reason, like decades ago, as a means to make us lesser, whoever the white people involved in media, they always would throw these negative images to make us seem like we savages, that we just so much more violent, that we just so much more evil, that we're so much more black, dark. You feel me? These things that perpetuate to the reasons of why too many times we getting killed, we getting shot in the streets. These are the reasons why so many thoughts and even these police people that's supposed to be protecting us are afraid and think, oh my God, the big black man, beware the big black man. So when you know that this is happening and when you have a history of this going down, you got to be very responsible moving forward when you're someone in the media. So I got to give a strong neck today. Who I'm looking at right now is MSNBC. Now, MSNBC, they put up this meme. They put up this thing. It became a meme, and it was from the Southern Poverty Law Center. And the Southern Poverty Law Center, they decided that they was going to separate the hate groups in America to show who are the top hate groups in America. What are the top hate groups in America? Now, the thing that was very careless and I'm not even going to blame the Southern Poverty Law Group or whatever. I'm blaming MSNBC because you like a CNN, you like a Fox News, you ones with power. So people just see a glimmer of this. They're going to just take that that glimmer and run with it, whether they have context or not. So in this situation, the context is the group that had the biggest amount, the largest amount of groups is black separatists. So if you look at the meme, it has black separatist groups at the top. There have been 193 groups in America. Then it's the Ku Klux Klan. Then it's anti-Muslim. Then it's general hate. Then it's white nationalists. Then it's neo-Nazi. Then it's racist skinhead. Then it's anti-LGBT. Then it's neo-Confederate. Then it's Christian identity. Now, when you look at everything besides black separatists, all them mofos all hate the same people. So it made no sense to separate it. So when you separate it and you put black separatists at the top with 193 and you put Ku Klux Klan with 130, the honest thing to do is, oh, Ku Klux Klan also are just like the neo-Confederates and the neo-Nazis. So that's white people. 43 should go with that 130. 99 should go with that. Then you look at white nationalists. What's the difference between a white nationalist and a Ku Klux Klan member and a neo-Confederate and a racist skinhead? And when you look at everything, they even got general hate. And they decided to separate. They separated all of the different forms and versions of a white hate group, because if you, only thing that black people or people of color can fit into these hate groups is anti-LGBT, but guess what? Even though you're going to have people of color, guess what? White people won't be there. Christian identity. You might have people of color in those hate groups, but guess what? White people won't be there. And once again, if I look at neo-Confederate, racist skinhead, neo-Nazi, white nationalist, general hate, anti-Muslim, and Ku Klux Klan, I'm more than sure they all want to burn the same people. So when I look at MSNBC and this meme going around, and the biggest thing at the top is that black people, black separatists, people that look like me, is the top people got hate groups in this place, and you did not even break down that even if you look at sheer numbers, there's 70% of people in this freaking country is white. So you can have 193 black groups, and they don't have 3 people in each freaking group. But if you have 100 people in 5 groups in a white situation, they got more numbers anyway. So that's careless, that's irresponsible, and straight up and down from the front to the back. MSNBC, you know what? Throw the Southern Poverty Law Council, whatever the hell your goddamn name is. You all get that front, that back, that neck, and just a little bit for Stacey Dash too, because she tried to come at TD Maxine, and you don't come for TD Maxine. You the only baboon out here. Screw you, Stacey Dash. You get all in that little gumbo pot of necklace, and you get that neck. Woo!
Ooh, man.
He did all strong with Stacey Dash.
Network, huh, man?
They get it.
MSNBC way bigger than us. He gonna give that neck from down yonder. That's what's up, man.
He said from down yonder.
Speaking of down yonder, man, if you want to go up yonder, tomorrow morning, Blazing Worship is happening at 5416 South Claiborne Avenue from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. And listen, you don't want to miss it. It is a gospel brunch for a very specific audience, and it's very, very spiritually enriching. I'll give you that much. So we got our Sankofa birds sitting together. I looked at y'all went on a date last week.
Was it a date? Yeah. Okay.
Did you pay for?
Did you buy drinks? Okay, that's
Right.
not my business. Not my business.
You're too much.
But I'm gonna let y'all give us a Sankofa session to close us out.
Okay, sure. So today we're gonna focus on Marcus Bruce Christian, a man and his works.
So a lot of New Orleans don't know that Marcus Bruce Christian was considered the Negro Poet Laureate. So he was considered the best Negro poet in the world.
They used to say Negro, so that.
Well, I'm so sorry. So back in those days, in historical times, he was considered Negro, but he was considered the best black poet in the early 1930s, 40s.
You keep putting the I in that word, Negro, though.
Negro.
It's so close. It is so close. Not a Negro.
We're gonna try to get through this. So he was born in Mechanicsville, which is now part of Houma. He was the 4th out of the 6 siblings. Both of his parents passed away, and he took up the caring for everyone. So he became a valet driver, a personal driver, and he actually saved money from being a driver and opened up a cleaners. He has a very interesting life story. So with that being said, his grandparents was a slave. His grandfather was a slave, but he turned around and became the director of the Lafourche Parish Public Schools during Reconstruction, which is awesome in itself. So learning was predominant in their household, with his grandfather having this job. So he learned how to read at an early age, write at an early age, and he started putting his words into works of art.
What's important is that he eventually migrated to New Orleans, and he probably migrated to New Orleans is because New Orleans started the first African-American public high school, which was McDowell 35, which is celebrating their centennial this year. So McDowell 35 has been operating for 100 years, and they are the oldest African-American public high school in the state of Louisiana.
Okay.
So in the early 1930s, his business folded, which was during the Great Depression. So he became a recluse, sort of kind of, and he put himself in his house and he didn't come out. He had all these works of writing and art, and he kept them in like a diary form and in this like little container or bin or whatever.
So this is at the end of the Harlem Renaissance, and he actually communicated with Langston Hughes and great writers of the day. He would write them, they would write back. He also submitted his work to be put in their publications. So like the NWAC publication of Crisis, he would publish his poems through the publications. And because it was the Great Depression, and people like yourselves and ourselves, artists, didn't have nowhere to work, the government actually sponsored grants to put artists to work. So if you was a painter, you was an actor, they started something called the Negro Writers of Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
So they commissioned a special group of black people to write the history of black people in New Orleans. And it was commissioned to be housed in a new university, which was Dillon University.
D-U. D-D-D-D-D-D-U.
The Dillon Project was set up to record African American history, culture, and folklore through the state of Louisiana. So he did contribute a lot to that situation. But after he got through with his writings, he passed away, and I want to say in the mid 1970s, after doing all of this work. But mind you, after he published everything for Dillon, he stayed in his house. He became a paper man.
Yeah,
so this man went from owning a dry cleaners, becoming a poet laureate, to a paper man. So it's kind of weird.
So he was very, very poor in the 40s and the 50s. Like, he would just stay in his house. He would write. He wouldn't speak to people. It got so bad that he was arrested during Hurricane Betsy for being a loiterer. And that's when, I guess, when the newspaper picked it up, he was like, "Is that Marcus Christian?" And they started talking about him, and actually UNO offered him a job. So he became a professor at UNO. And that's where he died teaching a class. Like, he had a massive heart attack on the spot while he was teaching class, and most of his academic papers are housed at the University of New Orleans.
Wow, okay.
So that, everybody, is the life and the legend of Marcus Christian.
Marcus Christian, I think
Exactly. He was so weird. And like, when you read the history of this man, I started getting confused because he's just novel.
Yeah, he lived the full
Yeah.
life.
Right, yo, what has been one episode? The 26th episode of the Misbelief Radio Show. I'm stuttering. Mastermind. Do you ever play that song by Landon? Okay, good. Okay, so thank you so much. I'm DC Paul, the Millennial Center. You guys can follow me on Facebook, DC Paul, no periods, capitalized at L, or on Instagram at SlimHotep, SLIMMHOTEP, and follow my co-host as well.
That actor guy, Martin Batts, Bradford. You can find me on all your social media platforms at Mr. Batts. Spelling Mr. out, you ain't gonna find me, and also subscribe to the Fly with Batts podcast. Appreciate y'all.
And this is Jay Steele. You can find me on Instagram at JessOSteele, 2 S's and 1 O.
This is Oshun. You can find me at Oshun SL11 on the Instagram.
This is Malik. You can find me at No Nola Tours on Instagram and Facebook.
And Kalana Celeste, our very own Lady Martian, yo, we're gonna play some more of her music. But in the meantime, this was gonna be our guest, our live performance guest. This is Landon. And what's the name of this song? Infinity by Landon, yo. Thank you all for tuning in to the Misbelief Radio Show. Tune in next week, same time, same place. I probably won't be here, but you can still not get nothing on you. I'm not gonna be here next week, yo. Yeah, I'm being mobile.
This is how he breaks the ice on air, and then be like, "All right, yeah, I'm not gonna be here."
Again. Oh, I'm working. Again.
Boy, I got no job.
Get this work, baby. I get this work. Is that what they call it now? Oh, my camera.
You are. You are.
He said his business, y'all. He said his business.
That's what she's gonna do. She's gonna work.
Mommy, I denied.
Everybody watching, because you're watching the pre-fight stuff. But thank y'all for tuning in to the Misbelief Radio Show, Facebook Live, y'all. Thanks to all my amazing friends and talented people who make this thing happen, y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mykia, Jovan. Thanks to the guys from Krue Clothing. Thanks to Kalana Celeste for putting it down a cappella. Goddamn it, out here. We will hear some more of her, y'all. Next week, have some more fun with us.
Get some
Bye.
See y'all tomorrow.
Bye. Bye.
Oh yeah, Blazing Worship tomorrow, 5416 South Claiborne Avenue, Blazing Worship.